Hey everyone, it's Michael and
Matt
and
Ruben
from Bullion Now, bullionnow.com.au, doing that too.
Let's start it again.
Bringing you Friday.
Unreal. I was about to say we've absolutely aced it. It was a smooth intro. We're all here in the room on time, and
Matt's got his shirt.
I'm wearing the right shirt.
I was going to say, Matt's even got a shirt today.
Yep, and
Got his shirt, got his glasses.
Yep.
What have you forgotten?
The tip of my thumb.
Hey, you left that behind.
Yeah, I did.
You're not Mr. Handyman. How did you do that?
No, well,
Or is that how you did it?
I was trying to cut some tape, and I was laughing so much because it reminded me of when you were telling me that you did a similar thing when you were doing an unboxing, and you just quickly
Put it in the pocket.
Yeah, so I made a bit of a mess of myself, but it was good for a laugh, and I'm still here. So
Yeah.
worse
No
things
major
have happened.
surgery needed.
Nah, it was a bit of clean up, but you get that on the big jobs. So there's a good reason. I think someone sent us, or I don't know if Ruben organised it. There was a chainmail glove at one point.
What happened to that?
It's still here.
Yeah,
I
okay.
found it the other day, but I haven't used it for a while.
Just break it out, just in case, because
It's a bit late once you've cut yourself, mate. You
This
meant to
is
do
the
it
thing.
beforehand.
Well, no, just in case. It was a timely reminder of, safety first. So that's my week in a nutshell. What's been happening here?
Nothing. It's been dead quiet, hasn't it,
Yeah.
I
Rubes?
haven't seen you basically all week. You've been very busy this week interviewing people.
Yeah, how's that going?
Yeah, it was good.
I won't get you to answer that too much because this might be where some of those people are actually hearing how it's going. But yeah, I guess it's a good sign that we've had
It's-
those conversations happening.
It's completely different to kind of tail end of COVID, and even a bit after that. Let me go back even further. Prior to COVID, we'd rumour that we needed an employee or something like that, and we'd get heaps of applications, heaps and heaps and heaps. And we wouldn't do any advertising, and away we'd go, sort of thing. And then COVID hit, and then going partway through COVID, when we could actually start employing people again, we couldn't. I rumoured, we might be looking for someone.
Yeah.
Nothing, just crickets. And then we did a YouTube video on it. I think we got. In fact, I don't think we got any applications for that one. I think we went out and advertised, to the wider world, and I think we got. It was something like 5 applications. And as they, within an hour of the applications arriving, I was phoning them.
Yeah.
2 made appointments to come in and see me. The other 3 said, "Oh no, look, don't worry about it," sort of thing. I'm like, "You just applied for it. What do you mean?"
Just doing the shotgun approach.
And then of those 2, none of them showed up.
Really?
And it's like, man. And this time, we threw it out there, and we got literally hundreds of applications.
Wow.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And yeah, we sorted it down. I think we've interviewed, probably done about 30 interviews in the last 2 weeks.
Jeez.
We've employed 2 new people have started.
Yep.
2 new people have started. 3, yeah. Well, technically, I suppose 3. But Jen started a number of weeks ago, and then 2 more in the last couple of weeks. Then we'll employ another couple as well out of those 25 to 30 that I just interviewed. So,
Geez, so it
Should
must
be
be a
good.
little. Is that a little daunting? Is it more daunting or exciting from your perspective? Because
It's a bit of both.
that's a fair bit of growth in a generally historically one person would come on and the team would sort of rally around them and they'd get up to speed and so forth. But this is taking on it's like a whole new small business of staff.
yeah, it
coming
kind
on.
of it kind of is. But you also got to remember when we moved EDC to its new location, we lost 2 staff from EDC.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So Emma and Bailey took off. We also lost our IT guy. So Simon disappeared at about the same time. But we've thankfully we've found a great replacement in Giannis. So he's taken over and he's going in leaps and bounds. It's amazing to see what's going on there. Giannis and DJ are just setting fire to the place. So they're doing really well. We've brought on we've brought on Glenn, who's looking after website type stuff,
Ah, cool.
which has been really good as well. He's poor guy. He's kind of going with one hand tied behind his back because I haven't been able to spend enough time with him to tell him what we need. But but he's batting along really well.
Yeah, wow.
So some of them are just replacements,
Yep.
and then there's a few more to add on to it, sort
Yep.
of thing. So which will be really good with EDC with our dispatch centre, with its growth and that we needed to bring more on. We were drowning with what we had, as the comments will have attest to over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
We've been struggling to get things out in a expeditious time.
Yep.
So it's good. We're starting to see it. I've got emails. I'll look at emails live right now. Not live at Bullion Now. I'm sales at Bullion Now. And I can tell you that I have a grand total of, it's gone up to 9.
Wow,
I had it
that's
down.
that's
I had
incredible.
it clear it this morning. I had it up
Yeah.
to 2 at about lunchtime. It's now gone to 9.
Wow,
But,
that is...
I don't remember the last time we were in single digits.
I seriously don't either. And when you mentioned the old YouTube video, I think I was in the fetal position in a chair because you said, "Oh, Matt, can you just take over emails for 2 weeks, 3 weeks tops?"
And a couple of months later.
A couple of years later.
That's right. It just kept going, and it just kept getting busier and busier.
Got a comment there from James Michael. Thanks to the employee called Michael for dealing with my order. I may nominate him for Employee of the Month.
Yeah,
You're talking about last week how he was your metric for how far down. So you
Yeah.
finally got to his.
I think I got to his on Sunday. But I think I sorted James out, like we back and forth a little bit, and I think I sorted him out at 2 or 3 this morning. So
Oh, that would have been timely in... This is a UK... Yes, that would have been...
yeah, it was all right for him.
Middle of the day. Perfect.
I was struggling a little bit.
You've just gotten everyone to send in emails now. They're all deciding
Oh,
to just.
no, no, that's fine. Yeah, actually, we just got another one just then. So, but yeah, it's really good. That's come along. The Trumps arrived this week, so that cleared
really?
a lot of backlog.
Yeah.
We had hundreds of orders that were locked up because of the Trumps.
Yep.
Some of
So-
the Trumps have arrived. Just
Yeah,
to-
first.
all of them?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
just to clarify, so we get 2 batches of them. So the first batch arrived this week, which is really good. So I think we've cleared pretty much all the shipping ones. So they'll all be
Wow.
out for Christmas. And we've done a chunk of the ones for storage. So if you've received an email, it should be telling you that they've hit storage. And the exciting thing is, because I was actually, poor Ads and I we've had some animated conversations this week, and I really need to apologise to Ads because he's caught the short end of my tiredness.
Best way to do it. Just do this.
Yeah.
Hey, Adam, if you're watching.
No, I do need to apologise to him, but we were going a bit head to head over, where's this second load of Trumps? Are you kidding me? And
Yep.
fortunately, we got notification today that they'd arrived in customs, so we'd never actually been given the shipping, like the tracking
really?
number for them. They just
Yeah.
arrived in customs, so even the second lot should arrive early to mid
Oh,
next
that's
week.
good.
So hopefully all those Trumps will be done and dusted. Perth has told us a number of times now that they have dispatched the 5-ounce snakes, but they haven't arrived yet. Actually, there was a delivery turning up just as I walked out here, so maybe they're in that, although they looked more barish than coinish. But hopefully they've just arrived, but if not, they should be here Monday. So that's the snakes. And the 2025 kangaroos was the other thing we were waiting on. They turned up during the week as well, so they've been dealt with and dispatched. So
Oh, no, it's been a big week.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know Laurie's been hanging out for the Kilo Perth Mint bars as well.
they've arrived. I fell over them coming out of my office. So
Yep.
there's three or 400 of those are out the front door of my office. So they should be back on deck either today, this weekend, or early Monday. We should have them back up and live on the web again.
We
Unreal.
got a message from John, who I remember watching us from the States. That says, guys, bit of a bummer, but had to sell a substantial amount this year. But such a been out of steady work since May. Finally found a good job, starting to stack again. Thank God.
fantastic.
So, yeah.
That's brilliant. Look, something we forget when we get all excited about stacking bullion is the fact that we stack it for a reason. It's there for
Yeah.
the rainy day.
Yep.
And it hurts like crazy when you have to liquidate. The rainy day arrives and you're out with your umbrella and wellies and
Yep.
or your gumbies and trekking off to get to hand some in and get some cash. But you got to remember, that's what you bought it for. You didn't buy it to eat it. You didn't buy it to wear it. You bought it for that just in case.
Yep.
So in that sorrow, be glad that you've actually got the just in case, because there's a lot of people out there that don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah. And do what you sounds like you're going to do, mate, and refill the tank.
Exactly. You consider it an opportunity to clear the decks, and you can, I don't know, maybe improve your strategy and things like that. Like we were saying last week, maybe unlike me, be a bit more organised in tracking your purchases, and take a different approach if that's of interest to you. So. Yeah,
Cuz is right, but we develop an emotional attachment to it. We do.
Yeah.
But that's why, and Matt's a good one for this, where he buys, because I'm speaking for you here, and you can tell me I'm completely wrong, but because he gets such an attachment to things, he buys things that he won't get an attachment to as well, like the Perth Mint Kilo bars, where even if you do have to unload them, you can always get them back.
Absolutely. That's it's almost like an insurance on your insurance policy.
Yeah,
like just knowing that you have an option that you won't have to, one tear won't roll down your cheek as you hand it over the counter, and you still get that benefit of having that sense of security. If you need it, you can use it, but you similarly won't have to always wonder, well, I've seen 2 of those bars or 2 of those coins in my life. When will I see another one?
Yeah.
That is really a separate beast altogether.
It's like amputating a limb, isn't it?
Yeah, big time. Yeah, it is. And it's something that is really hard to describe to someone that hasn't gone through that process. So anyone that has, I'm sure you'll be nodding away or, having a little bit of a moment of reflection.
Even if you've never done it, you can simulate that stress hormone just by going, what if I had to sell this?
Yeah, exactly.
And you can just feel it building in your stomach and working its way around your body. Just hold it while you imagine having to hand it over to Bullion Now.
Yep. But like you say, that is the ultimate benefit is being realised, I think, in that sense. When you need it and it's there, you do need to take some enjoyment from that part of the process, I think.
Well,
absolutely.
John continues to say, you nailed it this last year. It saved us big time. My kids didn't even realise I was out of work because I stacked for many, many years.
Yeah, good on you.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah, and I'm trying desperately not to get on my soapbox here, but it's so much better to stack the metals than it is to stack cash, because cash is such a. And I am talking notes, but I'm not just talking notes. I'm talking even cash in the bank, because that is a guaranteed loss year in, year out. You are going to lose your inflation. Yeah, they might pay you a little bit of interest, but I can guarantee you that inflation is always, no matter what the government says, the inflation figure actually is. Or they think it is, or how much interest you're getting, inflation will always beat it. Whereas the precious metals, it's not going to nail it exactly. It'll vary around it, but it'll do far better over time than your cash or cash equivalent will. So, well done, mate. It's fantastic to hear that you've done it. And we need, I'm not saying we need more stories of people going through hardships, but we need more of that getting out there, more of that education, and people saying, actually, this is what happened to me, and this is how I got through it, because then we get that education out there and we start those conversations. So good on you, mate, for A, for doing it, and then B, for being able to talk about it. That's fantastic.
Oh, that's it, yeah. Having the playbook almost to know how to counter that for when any of us might be in that situation, at any stage in life. Roxy's dad says, hello, Michael. Can you give an approximate time frame for the Tudor Beasts to be available? Jan, Feb, March. Thank you for your answer.
I'm guessing mid to late Jan, but that really is a guess. The problem we have now, obviously, we're all leading into Christmas. So if a lot of things in the Western world shut down over the next several weeks, and as we come back and start spooling up again, the Asian world goes out because it's Lunar New Year in that January period. So I know that, Tudor Beasts, they don't necessarily come through Asia, but those ripples work their way all the way around the courier world. So it can upset the apple cart quite a bit. So, but keep an eye, kind of that mid to late January, I think we'll have them around then.
Irish Luck just got their Bullion Now delivery as we've been talking. So
excellent. Perfect.
Nice timing on that one.
For the people that are stressing out a little bit, we do have, correct me if I'm wrong, we do have one more live stream to go.
Yes. Yep. So we've got one more. We've got to make it somehow more Christmassy. I don't know how we do that.
I'll wear my Santa hat.
Live reindeer in the studio.
Yeah, where are you going to fit them, mate? Have you seen how many cameras he's stuck?
That's true. Yeah, we might have to go back to a single camera.
Well, how are you going to get good shots of the reindeer?
We'll figure it out. It's going to be huge though. But it would be nice to hit 300 viewers today. Just saying. That'd be cool.
It'd be great. It's not looking like it. William says, Merry Christmas, guys. Please, any comment on platinum?
Oh,
where to begin?
I have so many comments on platinum. Look, I kind of feel like I'm repeating myself here, but the conversation around platinum to me just gets better and better. You know, the arguments are still the same, but they get stronger every day because the technologies are leaning more and more on them. The acceptance of those technologies is becoming more and more. I had to rent a car yesterday, and I pulled up in the airport. I pulled up to the car rental booth and said, you know, I'm here, sort of thing. And they went, oh, electric car? I went, oh, I don't care. You know, just give me a car. And they had a whole line of electric cars. You know, yep, no worries. Take them out there. And as I'm driving it down the freeway, it was pretty zippy actually. I didn't mind it. It was a Polestar. But as happens when you're driving a car, you never notice them beforehand, but you start looking out the window and seeing how many there were. And there was heaps of these electric cars zipping around. So, you know, things like that. I know a lot of medications now are, not every medication, but, you know, there are certain medications that are using more and more platinum in them. So the arguments for platinum are getting better and better. The arguments for supply of platinum are getting harder and harder. Again, you know, South Africa, always the basket case. Russia is a no-go zone. We can't go near it. And they're our main sources of platinum. Is it going to rocket up tomorrow? No, I don't believe so. It's an industrial metal, so you've got to give industry time to build through it and grow it. But I'm a firm believer in platinum, and I have been for a number of years now.
A couple of people there mentioning recently where they've had to sell back. Drogue having to pay for a CAT operation, hook you up, saying one of his cars got stolen, and to replace it, having to sell back some of the gold. Yeah. To me, it seems like I'm not paying much because I had the gold for a little while.
Yeah. That's possibly the only consolation is when you held it a few years, particularly gold. You know, it's kind of doubled in the last, 18 months, 2 years sort of thing. So you're kind of going, oh, well, I only paid about 2 for it, and I'm getting, in Australian dollar terms, I'm getting about 4 for it. So, you know, this doesn't hurt quite as much.
Yeah, to sort of ease it off a little.
Yeka says, if my Trumps and snakes arrive before Christmas, will I expect them to be dispatched on January 13th or a bit early or a bit late?
Look, everyone comes back on deck on January 13th, so it will get dispatched that week, sort of thing. So I don't know when everyone's coming back because some of us have already indicated we're going to come back a little bit early. So we may find that some things start operating a fraction early. Shipping won't. I know that for a fact, but the back end of shipping might. So it may be ready on the 13th for the guys to just get straight out the door. It also may not, but it'll be somewhere early on that week. It will be dispatched.
Desi wants to know our favourite coins for 2024.
Can I have a bar in that instead of a coin?
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm still stuck on the dragon from the start of the year. You know, the dragon bar.
I love how consistent
the rectangular one. Like, yeah.
In January, I remember you being like, yeah, this is going to be my favourite for the year. Like,
it just came out really strongly.
Yeah, I need to think now. It's been a big year.
It's been a great year. The coloured, and I'm not a huge coloured fan. The coloured snake, like Sean nailed that. Just nailed it. That's perfect.
And Ruben and I were talking. I think our perspective on coin designs has been heavily influenced now by having been to Perth and met the designers. So when we see something that Sean's done, I just now already assume that it's going to be a really, really high standard, particularly if it involves a dragon or a snake. So I don't know what the pick of the year would be, though.
Ruben and I had a conversation about a snake today, didn't we, on our unboxing?
Yes.
And we're going, you'll see the unboxing. I don't want to spoil it too much, but we're kind of comparing it to the Perth Mint one, and we're going, but the detail that Sean gets in it, and, the scales, and like he just, like I said, he nailed it. He really did. I don't think he could have done a better one on that.
Yeah, that was interesting as well, being a departure from the... Did we ask about that when we were there? no longer doing the mother-baby sort of motif for the Lunar
we
series?
did ask it, but I don't think we ever really got an answer to
Yeah.
it. I think the comment was, well, it's not a hard and fast, you have to do that.
It's just evolved over the years, I suppose.
Yeah.
Ah,
And let's face it, a baby snake just looks like a big snake that's small.
it's just a worm.
That's right. It doesn't have... they've actually done quite a good job with the half-ounce baby snake, but it doesn't really have a snake is not a cute factor thing.
I wonder if you could
in
do
my humble opinion.
eggs.
Well, you could, but you probably
There's
could.
options.
Yeah.
Oh, well, next time, Sean. I still haven't answered the question. What do you got, Ruben? What's your coin of the year then?
The one that's coming to mind is the one that I shot recently, which was the Alicanto.
Oh,
for LCS.
yeah.
What a perler.
That is so
There's
cool.
been so many good coins this year. Like,
But
honestly...
I feel bad bringing up one just recently. Like, I feel like there's probably been more throughout
And
the
that's
year.
what I'm struggling with. I
Yeah.
can't cast my mind back to breakfast, let alone the whole year of releases. That's
If you've got one in chat, let us know what your
just light it
favourite
up in
for-
the chat, and maybe I'll jump on board with someone else's.
Yeah, you go, oh yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I would argue though that this year the standard of coin design has it's not just come up a notch. It's come up a huge leap.
Yep.
Whether it's the designers themselves or the technology behind them that they can use, it's really just jumped. And it is absolutely Perth Mint, and I've got to stop banging on about Perth Mint because people are probably sick of me doing it. But it's not just Perth Mint. There's a lot of other mints around the world that are just, everything seems to have come up a level, which I'm really pleased about because going through COVID, everything came down several levels.
Yeah.
They just, we'll just produce any crap and put it out there and people will buy it. And I'm really glad that we're seeing the tail end of that and people are going back to designing really, really nice coins again. And bars. Some of the bars are just standouts.
Yeah, which is good to see.
Yeah.
Kim and Annie are asking if we buy back platinum.
Absolutely, we buy.
Yeah, gee
Do
whiz.
we ever? Absolutely. Bring in your platinum. Bring in your palladium. We even buy back rhodium, although it's, full disclosure here, it's a dodgy buyback. I think we only give, is it 50% of spot price
That
on
rings a
rhodium?
bell. Yeah, I think so.
Which has a reason. It's not just because we're trying to...
There is
because
one,
that's what we'll get paid for it, essentially.
if I've got somebody that's lined up to buy it, I will give you more for it if you're selling it. Because we can do the quick exchange, but I've got to work on the worst case scenario, and that's throwing back to there's certainly only one. I think there's now 2 refineries in the world that deal with rhodium on a stacking level. So, Drogue, you're actually not too far off wrong there. And they only offer us 50% of spot price for buybacks, and we've got to ship it. One's in the States and one's in the UK, and we've got to ship it all the way over there. So. We're actually we're actually doing it below. We're buying it back at less than we can get it. At more than we can get for it when we have to sell it through to the refineries.
Mr. Anderson says, Merry Christmas, guys. I'm late to the live stream, but does anyone know why we saw the precious metals market price go up randomly this week?
It wasn't so much random. There's a lot going on in the world at the moment. There's a realisation that interest rates are coming down around the world because economies are in trouble. It went up in Australian terms momentarily because we thought we were on the brink of an interest rate drop, which got shot down in flames today, or was it today or yesterday when the unemployment numbers came out and it dropped back below 4% again. So all of a sudden the Australian dollar went haywire again. So it's things like that. There's nothing major that's, no one's invaded anyone or anything along those sort of lines, but it's that there's lots of little things that have kind of made it up. And there's also and I'm going to get shot down for this, and that's fine, but there's also some of the money is starting to come out of the cryptos. People are starting to take profits, and they're starting to put them into more stable physical items, and precious metals have been the beneficiary of that as well.
Stephen reckons it's because you've been hiring too many people. You're dropping the
Funnily enough, I actually had the same thought.
dropping those numbers. There was someone before. I'm sorry, I'm not actually trying to steal who it was. I just can't quickly see it. I think it was David. Asked if if anyone has ever eaten gold leaf.
Yes.
And I thought that'd be an interesting poll just to...
Nothing wrong with a poll.
Yeah, well. What'd you think?
To gold leaf. It's got no real flavour.
Just fanciness
Yeah,
because
just feel
because
fancy.
You can.
Yeah, no, it was, I mean...
was it part of the Diwali
yeah,
stuff?
it was Diwali. So they had some of the stuff they've had on there has been either wrapped in gold or in silver.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fairly even.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that I've ever had it. Maybe I have. I don't know.
I might have to skip some of the ones there. Sorry, just I'm starting to fall a little bit behind. So if I've missed you in the chunk there, feel free to ask it again or ask at the very end, and we'll hit it over. There's one from Goldilocks though. It says, "Will you guys be replenishing stock over the break?"
I actually want a few days off, but yes, the short answer is we will replenish some stock over there.
Depends on how fast it's going out over the break.
Well, this is true. Also depends on the instability of the price because it's actually a little difficult to hedge, like physically hedge, which is our preferred option, over the Christmas break. So yeah, and volatility can go. It doesn't necessarily go, but volatility can go through the roof over that Christmas break. So yeah, I'm just a little bit. Yeah, we'll see. We'll have to play that one a little bit by ear.
Jay Powell made comments about Bitcoin being a competitor for gold, not a competitor for the US dollar. As precious metals people, do you support that point of view?
No. And I've done talks on this one.
Yeah.
No way. I'm not saying it won't in the future, and I'm talking years in the future, not days into the future. It isn't physical. We can dress this up any way you like. It's still not physical. It's electronic. But the biggest thing that goes against it is the volatility. When you've got something that can go down 90% in a very short period of time or up, as we've seen, like in the last month, it's up, I don't know, what is it, guys? It's up about 30% Bitcoin. Yeah. And I'm only talking Bitcoin. If we're talking some of the other altcoins and things like that, they can go hundreds, even thousands of percent, in a very short period of time. That is not an alternative to gold. You have to have stability there. People... give me all sorts of reasons to why it's gold, but it's not. It doesn't behave like gold. It doesn't have a history of gold. It doesn't have it doesn't have the stability of gold. It doesn't have the acceptance of gold. It's not a tier one asset. There is nothing about it that other than you could say it's limited in number, but even that, there are arguments.
The socks argument.
Yeah, well, there's two sides to this argument. One is, sorry guys, I've got the itchiest nose. I don't know what's going on here. There is the rarity doesn't mean that it's valuable, and I always use my old socks as an example of that. There's very few of those kicking around. That doesn't make them valuable. But there's also the flip side. People say there's only a certain number of Bitcoin out there, and while that may be true. We've started breaking it down into Satoshis and all this sort of stuff. So while they keep dividing it all up, I mean, it becomes an unlimited number almost. So, there's too many things here, too many things at play to say that it's not gold. So that's not to say it's not a good... I struggle to use the word investment here because to me it's still in the realms of, put it all on red. But, it's not to say it's not a good investment or a good gamble. But it's not gold. And if you have that attitude of this is a replacement for my physical gold, it is going to burn you. I've seen it time and time again where it's burnt people. So don't use it as a replacement for gold. Use it as an investment or a gamble. That's a different conversation altogether. But do not say this is my electronic gold. In my humble opinion, this is not financial advice.
It was funny on that. I was chatting with Ruben, and I can't. The camera just obscures the chat enough, so I can't see who said what. But someone did make a comment on a Mike Maloney video. I was chatting with Ruben about this earlier, of him talking about HBAR, which is one of the cryptos, and the whole video. It's 30-40 minute video, but in the opening few minutes, I think it's one of those. If you weren't paying attention, you'd miss it. But early on, Mike says the guy interviewing him is saying, yeah, HBAR's gone, up X amount of percentage. It's doing really well. Really early on, just as it starts, Mike says, yeah, I actually took a lot off the table and secured it in silver. and then they go on to, just chat all about cryptos and that.
We'll ignore that part
exactly,
of it.
Yeah, it's all it was one of those, if you weren't paying attention and you're sort of, not really listening to what he's saying, you can miss that type of thing. But yeah, at the beginning of this whole big spiel, plugging crypto, that's one of the first things that Mike said, which I guess makes sense because it's Mike Maloney. But interesting to note when he's promoting a crypto that's one of his first things that he acknowledged there.
Yeah, and you've got to, I've been around long enough to see several bubbles. People get burnt. People make a lot of money though in bubbles as well. You take this all the way back to the tulips back in, what's that, 17 something or other, I think it was, back in Holland. These bubbles happen. They happen with precious metals as well. So don't think I'm only picking on crypto here, but they happen. No one ever went broke taking a profit, and always remember that. It doesn't mean you need to get rid of it all. It's not an all or nothing thing. Just bleed a bit out of there and put it into something that's a bit more stable, whether that be the house that you want to buy, reduce your mortgage, whether that be, precious metals in our case, or something along those types of lines that, it doesn't matter if this explodes or, goes higher or lower. You haven't taken it all off the table, but you have taken some. You were the classic example of that with your crypto earlier on. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. That was really, real, timely words of wisdom when we did have that conversation. I came in that morning looking like a deer in the headlights. He said, "What's happened, man?" I said, I think I just made... I don't know the percentage, many thousands of percentage gains. And I said, well, I guess it'll continue. And you said, unlikely. So, and that exactly that. Like no one ever lost sleep, making a profit or securing a profit. And that, ultimately ended up becoming, like we were saying, that became what is now the family home, like the deposit for that. So, and that's something that, now having a little family in there, I look at that and think, that was a really great thing, rather than, being at the casino and saying, let it ride, which I'm sure if I did would have been catastrophic.
Well, it dropped, it was only 48 hours after you sold it, wasn't it?
It dropped big time.
That's right.
But similarly, and I think so often, so much of this stuff is easier said than done. So it was really timely that I did come in that morning. We had a proper conversation about it because... at the time, my head was spinning. It is actually really similar to that being in a casino with all flashing lights, and it's really difficult to think clearly and understand, what your objectives are and things like that, because sometimes things play out in a way that you could never have predicted. So if you're not prepared, it can get really, really noisy in your head, I guess you'd say. So it's good to talk things out with people that you trust and you're confident and comfortable discussing these things with, and just try and have a level head, whether it be with what we always say, doing your own research into precious metals and any form of investing. Understand what you're doing, and ultimately at the end of the day, understand that you're entirely responsible for whatever it is that you do. So some guy on YouTube telling you that you should put the house on this next doggy coin or whatever it may be, if that doesn't work out, that guy's gone. He was probably, you were his liquidity probably at the end of the day. So always, go in eyes wide open with whatever you do.
Yeah.
That's, I'll get off my soapbox now. Look at this.
Michael, Peter Graceme Guide wants to know if you, non-financial advice, if you're picking gold or GT Falcons, best value moving forward.
I would actually argue gold. I'm worried about the GT Falcon, actually, which sounds a bit silly, being a huge fanboy of them, because my generation grew up wanting one.
Mm-hmm.
But my kids' generation, my kids know what they are because of me. But my kids' generation, like their mates, go, well, what are you talking about? So I'm kind of wondering, because these things are now fetching in excess of $1 million. Like, the really good HOs. I know I'm starting to get into a bit of, techno geeky stuff, but, the HO, the phase 3s. Our
demographics say that this is probably perfect for... It's fine.
Okay. But they're getting right up there, well in excess of $1 million sometimes. But when my generation dies out, is the next generation going to be interested enough to spend $1 million plus on a car that really they've got no sentimental attachment to?
Oh, that's an interesting one.
This carries across a lot of different things that I look at where I think...
I always think back to stamps and how massive of a market that was, and now it's just so niche because people fell out of love with them, essentially, the people that were using them and collecting them.
Phone cards.
Yeah. Oh, if I had $1, if I could get $1 for every phone card I've seen.
That's it.
Gee whiz.
You know, the people were spending tens of thousands on phone cards.
Yep.
Now they're not worth lighting up to start your fire with.
Yep.
You know, it's just because... I mean, I'm amazed that Ruben even knows what a phone card is.
Yeah.
You know?
Because of my parents.
Yeah. So, you know, those sort of things. You know, will cars go out of, like, not only will they go out of fashion, but will they become
Oh my
like
goodness, it uses petrol? Yeah.
Well, this is it. You know, like in a not too distant future, we're going to get to a point where it's, you know, they're evil. You know, they burn hydrocarbons, you know, sort of thing. Then what are they worth?
I wonder if it's, though, and similarly with stamps, I think it may become...
The ultra rare is
the
still sought after.
absolute, the 1% or the fraction of a percent will still retain that value. But if you've got one that's clapped out, you've switched the engine over and you've, you know, repainted it, people might say, okay, you know, that's like a stamp that's been cancelled, it's got no gum on it, and you've, got a cancellation on it. So just, light a fire with it.
But the problem with the Falcon is that they're only sold really in Australia. A small number went to New Zealand and a small number went to South Africa. But really, Australia is the only place where they kind of, you know, where the following is.
Odd job to Africans convert it to an EV.
No. But, you know, it's going to end up in a situation where I think you're right, the ultra rare. So the worldwide desired ones, your Lamborghinis, your the premium cars around the world, they will keep holding their value. Whereas these regional ones, I'm not convinced they will.
Jeez, this is an interesting development.
Well, it's not my problem because they will stay popular until my generation dies out. So it's my kids' problem. I don't care.
No stress. Totally fine.
Michael, you wanted to elaborate a little bit on some of the tariff conversation we were having last week.
Yeah, look, this one, I need to start off by saying I don't actually totally believe what I'm about to say.
Okay, good start.
But
it feels like a riddle already.
But I think it's something we need to consider. I was placing orders with ads late last week and early this week for some overseas coins. And I was, over the weekend, I was reading some, because I got nothing better to do. I was reading some economic reviews and commentaries on what happens if, Trump comes to power. Well, I mean, he is coming to power. That's not an if. But if he actually puts these tariffs in place and the different reasons why he might be doing it and might not be doing it, and the different side effects that would have. So there's quite a lot of belief out there that he won't actually introduce, like he will introduce some tariffs, but a lot of this is chest thumping to try and get better deals internationally. And the one that keeps coming up is the one with China, where we won't introduce quite such high tariffs if you take more of our beef. So they're kind of using it as this trade tool or incentive, bit of the carrot and the sticks type stuff. Mm-hmm. But I was kind of playing out, okay, well, what happens if actually they do start introducing some of these really serious tariffs? What are going to be the flow-on effects? And I believe if they really start this, it's absolutely going to start a trade war. Like, there is no doubt about it. If they launch in properly, it'll be a worldwide trade war, which will actually cause huge problems. But what I was actually leading to ultimately in my thought process was what will happen to us as a business, like as Bullion Now and as stackers as a wider community.
Yep.
There is real potential that if those tariffs come in, that all of a sudden we're going to face tariffs as Australians, and you can implant this into whatever country you're in. You may find that all of a sudden we have to start paying tariffs on US Eagles, Canadian Maples, and all these types of things coming into the country. So all of a sudden, that eagle, or eagles are always overpriced, but maples
Yeah.
that are a proper price,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, instead of being, just that little bit more than a kangaroo, all of a sudden, if they're facing a 20% tariff or a 30% tariff or a 40% tariff,
Yeah.
because
Tariff on
they're
a Trump coin would be kind of ironic
Yeah.
and funny.
yeah, well, that's right. But if these things could, these things could actually jump 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% over and above what we're paying for them now, irrespective of what the spot price movement is. So I don't actually, I think I'm leaning into the camp that says Trump will probably try and introduce some tariffs, but I'm more leaning towards this. He's using it as a threat to get, better deals around the world. He's obviously got a history of tariffs because he did introduce them in his first term.
Yep.
So he's not frightened of doing it. But I think he's going to use this more as a, look, if you don't play ball with us, this is what we're going to do. So play ball. At least I certainly hope that's the way it goes. But the other interesting thing I found out over the weekend was that he doesn't actually require Congress's approval to do it because they've got law over there. I was talking to Rubes about this. They've got legislation over there that basically says if it's deemed a threat to, basically invasion of the country, there was something else, or damage to the economy, then the president can actually just enact what he needs to do. And that's how he got the tariffs through the last time.
Right.
So my understanding is he doesn't need that, the rest of the party watering down what he's thinking. He can actually just go, actually, we want this tariff and I'm going to do it to protect the economy.
Wow.
So there's a few concerns there. And like I said, don't run too hard with what I'm saying because I actually don't think we're going to get to a point where there is tariffs on US eagles and maples and those types of things. But it's certainly something you need to keep in the back of your mind as you're stacking, because you may come to a point where, and Adam and I were talking about this morning when I brought it up with him, where we're starting to go, okay, do we need to buy just an extra, instead of buying 2,000 eagles, we might buy 2.5. Just in case.
Yeah.
We might just stick a box to the side, we'll just keep it there and, just so we've got that little bit extra. Or if we're buying 5,000 or something, maybe we'll just buy an extra box or two, like a monster box or two, just in case.
Well, what do you think if you were to a ballpark percentage likelihood of that coming to fruition? We're on the whiteboard here. None of this is
20%.
Yeah. There's a bit of an outside chance.
Yeah. Look, I don't think it's a zero, but I certainly don't think it's 50-50. I think we're. Yeah. I mean, we got to see what he starts doing when he comes. At the moment, he's got no power.
Yep.
We got to start seeing what the world looks like when he comes to power. It looks like some of the wars that are going on around the world, they're starting to look for reasons to make peace because of the incoming concerns and things like that. So, there's already rumblings happening around the world that might make it a safer place. Maybe that could have some influence on the price of gold and silver. I don't know. Just what I wanted to do was more flag it. Just tuck this as a grain of sand in the back of your mind, just to keep an eye out of the conversations that are going on. And if it starts to become looking more 50-50, then absolutely start going, well, hang on a sec, I might put a few of these away. Because you've got to remember, even as a very new stacker that's not got much out there, if you can buy an eagle, June next year, you buy an eagle at spot plus its premium, and then December that year they add a 20% tariff to it. All of a sudden your eagle's worth 20% more than it was, and you can actually unload some of your eagles at 20% more and pick up some kangaroos. So you've still got the same amount of silver, but you've just scored yourself a bit of extra premium for free.
So you're now potentially plugging US eagles over the Australian kangaroo.
I'm not
That's
there yet.
what I'm hearing.
I'm not there
yet,
yet, but I've got to say, actually, we found a really sweet deal on eagles today. Adam found it, so I'm hoping to have some good priced ones in early next year.
Well, we'll see what happens.
But it's. I'm not saying race out and buy international stuff. Actually, my secondary concern over all of this is what happens when they introduce tariffs, where it puts the imported stuff up, so the local stuff jumps to just If it goes up 20%, the local stuff goes up 19%, just to try and, so it's just that fraction cheaper.
So do you think potentially we could see in that event or in that scenario a blowout on premiums? So not necessarily spot, it would just be the premiums that would really
I absolutely think it will, because if that happens, in an Australian sense, you're going to see a screaming halt come to the international sales, because people will go, why would I do that? I'll buy a kangaroo for 20% less.
Yeah.
And we're going to see a huge local demand on Perth mint. So that will drive the premium up, because they won't be able to keep up with the production of it. Now, the flip side of that is if we've got a 20% tariff on eagles coming in, the chances are the US and other countries will introduce a 20% tariff on Australian kangaroos. Yeah. So all of a sudden that might kill the Perth mint manufacturing demand. So it could play either way on that one.
Talking about eagles with a higher premium, I might throw this one a little bit to you, Matt. There was obviously a period throughout COVID and the like where eagles were super, super, super expensive.
Yeah.
Were they ever?
Obviously, I know the counter argument to this is something like a 2008 5-ounce mouse. Like, obviously, there's specific coins that still sell for a lot more, but do you find specific years of coins sell for more on the secondhand market in the case of something like the eagle, where you could almost track the premiums and they're fairly low and then, fairly easy to get a hold of? They jump up like crazy. Do ones that were at the height of that crazy premium actually end up going for more, or do they kind of end up just averaging the same as any other eagle? Let's use
question.
The eagle.
I think it depends on a number of factors. Like, for some reason, the eagle seems to be one that in the US, just a regular run-of-the-mill bullion coin, you see so many more of them getting slabbed and the first issue and things like that. So if you submit them to be graded by the third party like NGC or PCGS, I think it's in the first 30 days of them being issued.
Yeah.
You get a little first strike.
Yep.
There's a lot of marketing fluff that goes along with the eagle. So it's not uncommon to see what would be an ordinary year, a relatively high mintage, but they fetch really large premiums because they were graded early on, or they're in some sort of fancy presentation box or something like that they made fewer of. So the eagle is an interesting one because we don't really get that in Australia, like with the kangaroo. You're
not slabbing your kangaroos and
getting them
graded?
About that. Maybe there's a tremendous opportunity that I'm missing here. Maybe
because it's an award-winning design, mate.
It is. In fact, it truly is. Maybe there's an opening.
What award was it? I know. We
look. You're really pushing me now.
Best designed coin
in Australia. Yeah. I was going to say, how niche of an
best
award
kangaroo in Australia for the year. I don't know.
Created by Perth, sponsored by Perth, presented by Perth.
Although actually thinking back to the US and them winning their coin show, there was a US coin that won, and I was sitting there like, because that's it. They could also claim, award winning. It's like, yeah, man, come on.
Well, I guess in that sense, we're an award-winning.
We're an award-winning.
Is this an award-winning stream? Yeah, this is an award-winning company.
It absolutely is. It is there. I was going to say it's been moved.
Check it out. Oh, it's gone a bit. Hey.
I'm impressed you moved it the right way. I still haven't got that down yet. After 6 years in front of the camera, I still can't do it.
Australian Bullion Industry Award, the Maggie. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Why have we? It's been a while since we've had an award. This is 2022.
Yeah.
What's the hold up?
Oh well, we're still trying to
get up on top of emails.
That's right.
Order
can't
furniture.
do everything at once.
The question though was what?
What was the question? Do higher premium years end up averaging out lower or high? Like, do they join just the price of an ordinary eagle on the second-hand market?
I think generally speaking, I think there are a few exceptions to that, but overall, on the whole, I think the market just sort of, in my experience, just sort of levels out.
Let's say these tariff ones end up coming in, and so in Australia, are we going to see, and then they drop off, 4 years later, are we going to see ones purchased in that time at massively inflated prices, or are they just going to then move back down to where eagles are?
I think in the first instance you will, but there are plenty of examples, like even when we see some of the nicer buybacks, there are plenty of people that, I think a lot of people that get things in larger quantities, and we, like we talked about earlier, reach that point where the rainy day comes and it needs to be liquidated. You may not have the time to sit there and try and squeeze every last dollar out of the, you bought a monster box, the premiums have gone up, but you need $25,000 now, and you want to just come into a place like Bullion Now, get your cash and keep the wheels turning. So I think there are, at a larger scale, probably more examples of that, whereas you get collectors like myself that might buy 2 or 3 of them and are willing to sit around and wheel and deal and get the most possible value out of that coin. But I think a lot of the time they end up being what they are intended to be, which is bullion coins. So the intrinsic value is the major, focus a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I also expected, and I don't know, I haven't checked out the market on this. Someone might, if there's anyone from the States in the chat, I thought there'd be a bit more excitement around the Type 1 and Type 2 of the US Eagles, because I thought that was a pretty big deal. That's, the equivalent of a change to the kangaroo. And I would have thought, again, but this is, in Australia, that'd be a pretty monumental change.
What are you going to do? Like, you either decide that, hey, I'm not going to buy these anymore, or you just keep buying them.
Yeah, but I would have thought there'd be more people collecting.
Yeah.
Like, we would see a higher premium for a Type 1 than a Type 2, but it never eventuated.
But they are just their kangaroo. Would you really care that much about paying extra, let's say even a few dollars for just a slight change in your kangaroo?
Yeah, I would.
You would?
See, Matt's right. The US Eagle is different. I know I bag out on it a bit by saying it's just the local, kangaroo type of thing, the US kangaroo. But the Eagle has such a following around, particularly in the States for obvious reasons. And this is not a criticism, it's very parochial there. But also around the world, there's quite a big following of the Eagle. So I'm actually surprised that demand for the Type 1 is not there. It was surprising.
And time for a poll. Very timely there, Ruben.
Thank you.
It's going off with the polls this week.
Got a couple under our belt, but yeah, just interested to see which
which
people prefer.
There's huge popularity of the Type 1 there.
Yeah, I think I'd pick that as well.
I actually like the Type 2 better.
Well, you're in the
definitely in the minority.
You can take them all.
But that's it. People still buy the Type 2s.
Yeah,
people still grab them. They just don't have a great security feature. Ooh, we filed off.
Yeah, that was earth-shattering.
Nathy Boy saying that the 1-ton gold kangaroo got a Guinness World Record in 2012 for being the largest. That's an award.
So it's a multi-award winning.
Well, unless that's the award that they're claiming.
No. There was the. Was it a proof one that came out last year or this year?
Yeah, the
anniversary one.
With the first King Charles portrait, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
That was the first time they'd done it as a proof.
And that was the one that got the award.
Oh, did that one get the award?
Yeah.
It also got an award in 10 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
At the World Money Fair. I'm sure of it. Someone will, if anyone from Perth is in the chat, although we remember when we were trying to find out when we switched from left to right facing Swan, none of the Perth Mint staff knew it at the Gold Conference. So maybe they don't know. Double check.
We're just working, man.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, we're having trouble. Hey, Rubes, you got that coin there? The Perth Mint one that we're trying to find more information about?
Yeah, I want to save it. I do have it.
Oh,
it's a secret.
Can we talk about it at all or not? We want to hold off.
I'd like to do a video on it.
Okay, we'll hold off. There's a really exciting Perth Mint coin. That
click the
Ruben's got
subscribe button now and you'll be able to see what we're talking about.
That's right.
Oh, dear. I'm going to dive Matt a little bit into it. I'm not sure if you actually had a chance to read any more of that article, but we've made it the title of the stream, so we've got to lean into it a little bit.
Sort of the blip that I showed you. Yeah. So let's dive in. Well, actually, this is more a question for Michael.
Yeah, Matt sent me something this week, and I'll quickly throw it up on the screen there. I guess it's more
the sooner you switch, the sooner you can say.
Yeah, no, it's not sponsored by Macquarie Bank there. It's more so the bottom bit there. It says the silver market is expected to be in a deficit of around 190 million ounces to 210 million ounces as global supply lags robust industrial demand and a pickup in silver ETF purchases. Sorry.
Yeah, so what gives, Michael? You're always saying, you mine for this, you get silver. You mine for that, you get silver. This article's telling me there's not enough. So, what? Why? Why?
The truth lies somewhere in the middle. Would be my answer to that.
Okay.
Look, I unfairly criticise silver, and usually it's in a discussion about which should I get, silver or platinum. Is usually where I highlight this one.
Yep.
Silver is a byproduct of most mining operations. So when you're looking at an investment, you've got to look at both sides. You've got to look at the supply side and the demand side. Because if there's unlimited supply, it doesn't kind of matter how much demand you've got. If you can just open the taps and satisfy demand, it's not going to go very far. The flip side of that is if there's limited supply, obviously it's going to drive the price up. So silver, while it may not be unlimited, it has that we're going to produce it anyway. So it's kind of got this pseudo unlimited to it. So it means that if there's normal increases in demand, normal variations in demand, then it's really not going to drive the price too much because it has that elasticity in it. If price drops, it's not like lithium at the moment where they're shutting lithium mines left, right and centre because it's no longer economical to produce lithium anymore. So they're trying to shrink, either consciously or subconsciously, they're trying to shrink the lithium market, so eventually the price will increase. Silver doesn't have that luxury because if the price drops, even if it dropped down to $1 an ounce, we'd still produce it because we want the other products that come with it. So it doesn't have that rigidity of supply or that elasticity that can drive the price, the non-elasticity to drive the price. Conversely, on the demand side, we also have elasticity in demand because if it gets expensive, because it's an industrial metal, industries can just say, oh, I'm not going to use it anymore. I'm going to shut down that part of the operation. And we saw that, for those that say, oh, it's never going to happen, we saw that with an increase in gas prices. A lot of the refineries still haven't come back online because gas is too expensive to run to produce silver.
Right.
So they just go, no, not interested, I'll walk away. So it has that if the price starts going up, people have alternatives. Industry can expand or contract. So it has that less chance to drive demand over supply. But that's not to say it's completely flexible. It's kind of like an elastic band. It's got some give in it, but there's an eventual point where it's going to snap. And if all the stars align and industry increases, and it was crossing both sides there. It's saying there's going to be a huge increase in industrial demand, and there's also going to be a huge increase in ETF, so investment demand. Well, if both of those increase massively, there is no elasticity in the supply demand quadrant. Equation. So that is absolutely going to drive the price up. We may get to that situation. More and more industrial uses are coming along for silver. Yeah, we've well and truly got over the overhang from it stopped being used in films, and that caused an overhang in the market. A lot of that has fallen out now. So we're actually seeing that excess capacity is gone, and larger increases in demand will drive the price. And we're getting those technologies, we're getting that interest, those sort of things are coming along where that is starting to happen. From the investment side, we're seeing more and more people, and I don't know, this ties into that one that I was talking to you about before, Rubes. I don't know, are we covering Rob Moore?
I quickly had a clip from his video, just kind of in without audio, just so you could talk about it. It had some of the text up on the screen there of kind of roughly what he was talking about.
Yeah. So this guy's, I'm assuming we've still got audio here. Yeah. So this guy's a multi-millionaire out of the UK. He's quite vocal. He upsets quite a lot of people. Interviews, all the. If you're someone, he's probably interviewed you. He's
when
that
are you
type
going
of guy.
on the program?
Yeah,
wait, is this double audio, Ruben?
No.
Oh, so that's just
it's
the video.
Just the text.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's all good.
So anyway, he did one. He did a segment. He's doing a new thing. He's got a new channel. So he's got his normal channel. He's got a new channel. It's called something like
More Money Secrets.
Thank you, More Money Secrets.
Genius.
And about 3 or 4 weeks ago, he did one on silver, and he's a big fan of it.
If I was broke, this is the only thing I'd invest in.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's saying this is, and he's holding up silver. He's saying this is the history of money, but it's also the future of money because they keep printing it, and all the same arguments that we use. It's being dumped out on the market. Fiat's. They just turned on the printing presses. All this sort of stuff. There is more and more of that acceptance coming out. There is more and more of that awareness coming out. There is more and more people that are seeing, what's being. Basically, we're seeing behind the curtain. We're seeing the wizard, the old man pulling the levers, and we're looking for those alternatives. And so silver is becoming more popular as an investment. We're seeing that demand increase. So both of those things are coming together. And if there was ever a golden time for silver, there's a pun for you. I'd say it's what's coming now. We're seeing both sides actually really, really build.
Well, this is interesting. This is probably the most bullish I've ever heard you on silver in that sense. Usually you sort of shy away a little. Well, this is exciting.
A little bit of it is trying to balance out the... I like silver. I hold silver. I prefer platinum over silver.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean I think silver's bad. It just means that, if I've got a couple of grand, I'll put some into platinum and I'll put, a slightly smaller amount. I might put 60 into platinum, 40 into silver.
Yeah, right.
Rather than, weighting more heavily into silver. I still think silver's a great buy for the future. But it's also me... I guess I'm trying to take some of the heat out of that. Silver's going to hit $5,000 an ounce in the next 3 minutes.
Yep.
I want people to actually go, well, yeah, okay, it's a good buy, but what are some of the negatives? What are some of the reasons that I need to be aware of that it may not go to $5,000 an ounce in the next 3 minutes? Because you've been in the shop, where you get the people come in and they go, oh, I've got $100,000, I've got to spend it right this second because it's going to double, silver's going to double by the end of the week, and and it breaks my heart every time. That in a month's time they're going to be walking back through the door and they're going to go, have your flaming silver, it's all a scam and all this sort of stuff, and you think, oh man, it's someone that is just giving up such an important part of their investment repertoire over the fact that they got suckered into these what do you call it? These headlines on YouTube.
The clickbait.
They've fallen for some clickbait stuff, and somebody that could have had a really successful investing career has now just been burnt, drawn in one side, chewed up, and spat out the other.
I want to blame crypto for that, but I feel like someone's always looking for that get rich quick scheme. But I think crypto made it worse for a lot of people, where people knew people who did have that, I've turned a very small amount of money into a very large amount of money.
I could literally start a channel and
that's it.
Promote myself as a bona fide expert with the receipts to prove it.
And because that's out there, people are now looking for the next thing. And it's got to be something. What's it going to be? Oh, is it going to be silver? And so people are jumping around from, thing to thing. And it's not what this is good at.
No, people want the easy path.
Yeah,
that's human nature. That's not a criticism of anyone.
Yep.
I want the easy path, but it's not. And I guess I come across as more negative because I just want to give people that realism check.
Maybe that's why we're not getting 300 viewers. Too much real talk. But I think that is really invaluable. Particularly in an industry which is, like YouTube in particular, which is absolutely inundated with, the shocked face and
that's right.
a rocket ship exploding the moon and a big silver bar coming out of it and all that type of jazz. I think it is so important to have a level-headed view come in from time to time.
Well, it always makes me smile when people go, hang on a sec, you're trying to... Aren't you meant to be selling me silver? Like, there's a bullion dealer.
Don't you want to sell me more?
Yeah, actually, you're right. I probably should be on the other side of this argument, but it needs to be. You need that balance there because it is a balance. Otherwise, people go down this. It's going to be wonderful, you know, and it's like, okay, it is going to be wonderful, but just take a deep breath here before you sell the house and the kids and all that to put it all on silver.
Odd Job reckons you're intentionally doing it to throttle back the number of viewers we have, so we don't have to do a spot special for 300 viewers. But do you know what, Michael? We decided to do a spot special anyway.
Oh, really?
Oh, do we? What's going on here?
It's not actually the one that...
At 229, we planned the whole thing.
It's not actually the one that we were planning on doing if we hit 300 viewers, so there might still be something coming if we hit 300. But there is some gold available for spot on our website right now.
What?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm crying. I'm actually crying quite a bit today because I think Ruben's going to release a video later on today about an unboxing that we did. And I said on there, I'm crying a little bit on the inside because the price we're doing things at. But yeah, believe it or not, we've never had this happen before. We've inundated with sovereigns.
Really?
So we're doing sovereigns at spot, including GST.
I was going to say, that's
moly.
the kicker, because... And I need to quickly get that link before everyone is jumping over to the website and things start to get
you thought
really
we had a lot of viewers
slow.
before. Now it's just halved. Everyone's gone over to the website. And they tell me, the IT gurus tell me that the website will cope with this.
So makes for a
One
real
way to
good
find
story.
out.
Let's see.
But yeah, there's the direct link to them there. But yeah, that's it. Normally, ones like this, you can get them fairly close to spot price, but then the GST on top brings it, unless you're leaving the country kind of thing, it can be a...
Well, if you're leaving the country,
Even
you're now
better.
getting it 10% below spot because you can claim the GST back going across the border.
There you go.
You're
you can make some
absolutely
money.
set, yeah.
So we're probably sold out by now, but that's
maybe,
okay.
maybe you do need a thumbnail with a big explosion.
No, I think there was about 80. They're just shy of $1,000. It's
95, I think, wasn't it? Something like
give
that.
or take $1,000.
Yeah.
Remember saying sovereigns will never be 1,000 at spot? And they were, $500-600.
Yeah, that's what I'm used to kind of mentally as a sovereign being. But
Yeah. So there you go. It's a good buy. Like I said, I'm crying a little bit inside because I'm...
you like the story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like the sobs.
and they all have a story to tell.
Yeah. So, well.
No, that's good. Share the love a bit.
Yeah.
People can spice up their stack. And this, we should preface this. This is going to be, if you're anything like us, bear in mind you're going to struggle to sell it emotionally. Once you start to enjoy it and you start to tell people that you encounter that, the story behind them and that, we actually use them as currency in Australia. This is a type of thing. Yeah, this is a kind of thing that you may want to hang on to, and you'll form an attachment.
Welcome to the dark side.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there should be a little in italics down the bottom. P.S. You may get attached to this.
Yes.
You have just started your journey down the collector numismatic line.
Welcome, one of us.
Oh, dear.
Oh, that's cool. That should have been the title of the stream. This is a big occasion. It's been a while since we've done a special, and that's a ripper.
Michael Burrows asking there if they're random years.
Oh, incredibly random.
Yeah.
Please don't ask for a year or a mint or anything. Even a country. Like there's some British ones in there. I think there's some Indian ones in there.
Oh, cool.
I don't know. Like, it is going to be literally random. The guys will put their hand in, put it in a bag, put their hand in, put it in a bag. And it's going to be that simple.
Sounds like the website is struggling just a little bit. When we do spot specials, it always is. This is going to be you one, Matt. Though Michael is probably know as well. But the rarest year for a sovereign, if you had to have a pick,
1920. There's less than 10. There's about 6. The bloke who was responsible for the Labor Day public holiday commissioned them for his golden wedding anniversary. So he was chummy with the mint master of the day.
Wow.
And there was none commissioned from the Sydney Mint that year. So he had exact figures at not 100%. I think it's about 6, and he gave them to his daughters. And as a result, I think the last one that sold was just shy of $1 million. But what a hookup to have. You just call up the mint master and say,
just make me some
I've got this
songs?
idea. Yeah, can you just knock up a couple of subs for me?
Fast forward, a bunch of years, we're selling them for millions.
Unbelievable having that, like literally minting currency.
Yeah.
You whip us up a couple of $100 notes.
Just as a favour. I'll pay a premium. I'll give you an extra 20% for your troubles to, tool up the dies and everything. But, yeah.
What a worry.
Sydney, what a place.
Yeah.
What makes a sovereign a sovereign?
It's a good question. Well, we can know what they're composed of, but what makes a sovereign a sovereign? Are we getting philosophical?
I don't think so.
Don't know.
Oh, well, it's the 22 carat gold coin. They weigh 7.98 grams. It's 0.2354 of an ounce of gold. And they make you feel good. That's what a sovereign is to me.
And they incur GST in this country.
That doesn't make me feel good.
No.
But overall, yeah.
The other one, I was trying to think, is it the 1850 or the 1870?
1855? The Sydney?
1855, is it?
That was the first of the
there's-
Sydney Mint.
I'll have to have a think about that one. I should know that because I've got a few of them. Because it's it's a very good year.
There's an overdate, 1872. So with the Melbourne. So originally in 1871, the dies were on the way over from the UK. Went down.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, went down, shipwrecked. Lost the dies. Only one. I think there were 3 or 4 that were meant to come. And I think only one made it. And then they had a bloke. Oh, he's a sculptor. Ericsson from Hogarth. No, it was either Julius Hogarth or Conrad Ericsson. Two chums that made some coins. He was a jeweler and he created...
Dodged it up.
Yeah, dodged it up. So you have the 1871, but with the 2 as an overdate. There's not many of them out there. They're super rare, but I'm just nerding out for a bit. Thanks for indulging me, everyone.
Oh, no, they're telling me the website's crashed.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
It's because you said, this will be fine. The lad said it'll handle it.
We can't
test.
sell things, Michael.
Giannis.
There's a question there from Metal Inquisitor that we've had a few emails about, and I've a little bit been avoiding because it's kind of directly talking about people's other businesses specifically. So I'm going to keep this one super broad in the way that he's asked it. But thoughts on businesses that give you 2 to 4% return on the gold you store at their vault. Danger of creating derivatives.
Yeah, need way more information
Well,
on
the
that
problem
one.
is the information requires going into specific businesses and things like that. But it's essentially the idea of letting a business use your gold and giving you a portion back on, from it. Is it, again, not financial advice, but is it filled with dangers? Is it something we'd ever do?
I mean,
again, you can't really comment on other businesses, which is why we really haven't talked about it. So sorry to the people whose emails I haven't answered on here.
I wouldn't. We're not. There are no plans to do it.
Yeah.
I'd have to think about this. I'm not going to say we'd never do it. I'd have to think a bit more about it. But the obvious risks are you're giving someone else your gold. That they can do with what they will. So this is, I'm absolutely not saying anyone's running a Ponzi scheme here, but it's starting down that path. Let's make this personal, okay? That way I'm not criticising anyone else. Let's say BN introduced it, and I could have the argument for introducing it. We're not about to do it, so please don't take that out of this. But if you lent me your gold, I could, for a year at, let's say, 4% per annum, I can turn that gold over hundreds of times, well, probably not hundreds, but dozens of times during that year. And even if I'm only making 1% every time I turn it over, or 0.5% every time I turn it over, and I can turn it over 12 times a year, that means I'm making 6% on that gold that's come in. So I can share 4% of that with you, keep 2% for that myself, or for the business, and everyone's happy, sort of thing. So I can actually do I can see an argument for doing it. I can see why a company would do it. The fact that they're doing it doesn't mean that they're a Ponzi scheme or they're dodgy or anything along those sort of lines, because there is a business argument for it. Would I do it? I mean, as a customer, would I do it? I would want to know a heck of a lot about the business, about the owners, about the people in it. Yeah, look, I'm not saying I wouldn't, but gee, I'd want to know a lot.
I was going to say the problem for me is you're either doing a small amount that you can kind of feel comfortable with, but then you're really not getting as much back, so is it really worth it? Or you are, seriously giving a lot behind it to actually have it make financial sense, in which case that's it. You really do have to know all those things to feel comfortable and have that sleep at night factor for this thing that is supposed to give you the sleep at night factor.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I said a number of weeks ago, probably months ago now, that the one problem that we haven't solved with gold is a return on it, like a dividend of type. Now, this is a way to do it, but yeah, odd job's right. If you don't hold it, I don't know. This is one that I don't. If you're ever considering it, you need to be incredibly, incredibly, incredibly cautious. The crypto examples there, and we've seen it time again. Mr. Anderson there is talking about Celsius and the fact that they were giving a 5% return on Bitcoin. He's right, and there are many, 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 many examples of it in the crypto world where people have taken crypto and offered a return sort of thing and ended up collapsing. There would be an uncountable amount that's happened in there. Yeah, I'd be really, if you're considering it, I'd be really, really cautious to know what's behind it, what's backing it, how quickly can you get your money out or your gold out. Those types of questions you need to really, really focus on.
I think your eyebrows should always go up a little. I find anytime there's guarantees being thrown around with sort of anything, I'd always and it reminds me
better
of
than the emission of a guarantee though? Like, I realize guarantees, obviously, they're too good to be true, but
yeah, I'm just
some people would be skeptical because they're not committing or being,
the story, like the example that comes to mind when we're just thinking about like being cautious and things like that. It's people that got involved with the Rare Coin Company over in Western Australia when there was sort of things were being presented in a manner that in hindsight was too good to be true. And then I think it harks back to the earlier conversation we were having with sometimes it can feel like being in the casino with lights and things are happening and you think, well, I've got this opportunity and I feel I need to act now. And again, like as we mentioned earlier, when people come into the store and they say, I've got $100,000, I've just watched 10 hours straight of YouTube videos, I need to move yesterday. It all needs to happen now. Like you need to really, as Michael said, do as much research as you can and understand exactly what you're doing, because ultimately you're responsible for whatever it is that you're doing with your finances.
The other one, I'm going left of topic here a little bit. The other one that's starting to concern me is the rise of. We've talked about this a number of times. The rise of advisors. That we're seeing over the last couple of years, actually, and they are absolutely on the web, but we're also seeing them in person.
Yep.
Presentations and things like that. And I'm absolutely not having a go at anyone here, but it's worrying me that we're seeing more and more of that, of people being proselyte. I can't even say the word now. Come on, Ruben, help me here. Proselytized, proselytized, whatever you call it. They're going out and they're basically saying, this is wonderful. This is wonderful. You should see these people. You should do this thing. You should buy this metal or this cryptocurrency. When really they've got no real expertise in it, and they're getting kickbacks or there's interests in there and that sort of thing. It's just we're seeing more and more of that people either making comments without any knowledge of the background of you and your investment and things like that, but also the hidden kickbacks.
Yeah, and I think you're right. It also that falls in line with the idea of the easy avenue.
Yeah.
If someone's going to take me by the hand and just tell me what I should be doing, that's easier than doing the legwork. And they're and often those people, have a way with words, so you get the impression, oh, well, they've done all the heavy lifting. They're just giving me the information. I've just
for free.
Yeah, can you believe it? Yeah. Again, the lights are flashing. I mean, things are going well. This can only end well for me because I feel good about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it worries me. You've got to, even, and I've said this so many times, it's not funny, even watching our YouTube channel, even talking to us across the counter, consciously or subconsciously, you need to be aware of the fact that we carry a bias. I carry a bias. I am trying to sell you something. I make money by selling you gold and silver. So you've got to, it doesn't necessarily mean what I'm saying is wrong, but you need to be aware of my bias. You need to be aware of where I'm getting the kickback from, whether that be like a, not a hormone, like a, a feel good thing. I feel
serotonin?
good. Yeah, a serotonin kick.
Yeah.
Or whether I'm getting a financial kick.
Yep.
By, either I'm making myself look good, which gives me the serotonin kick, or I'm getting a financial kickback. Somewhere along the line, that person you're talking to is getting a kickback. You need to work out where it is, and you need to work out what that bias means, and then you need to go from there and see if the information they're giving you is actually good for you, rather than just making you, as Matt said, this person's leading me by the hand. They've done all the hard yards, all the legwork's out there. Those types of things. As much as we criticise, financial planners and things like that, at least there's a degree of training that they're required to have. They've got to have a certain certification. When you're on YouTube, when you're a sales rep, when you're getting in front of on a microphone, whether you're typing, a keyboard warrior, there is no certification required and no training required. So be really, really, really careful of that.
Josh is asking for some clarification on that. It says, hi, Michael. When you say advisors, a protected term in Australia, I trust and hope you're not referring to licensed financial advisors.
I am absolutely not referring to that. At least, no, I'm not. It'd be really good if Andrew kicked in here, if he's listening today. But yeah, look, financial advisors have to... even financial advisors to a degree, you have to understand where their biases come from. They are certainly certified, they are certainly educated, they are required to be, but they're certainly paid by a lot of them by commission. Yeah, Andrew's there. So these biases are not necessarily evil. I'm not saying these people are out to scam you, but I'm saying...
You just have to be aware of them.
You need to be aware. When you're talking to me, as in Michael, the bullion dealer, you need to be aware that I have a bias. Doesn't mean what I'm saying is wrong. Doesn't mean what I'm saying is right. Doesn't mean I'm trying to rip you off. Doesn't mean I'm trying to do the best thing for you. It means I have a bias. Be aware of that and take that into account when you're taking the information I'm giving you, and make sure it fits into your requirements, into your security, into your situation.
Yeah, someone mentioning there that they also get kickbacks, that they recommend the highest fee products that benefit them the most. And look, some of this comes down to same as you would be going to choose a business, or anything. There's good and there's bad. There's people that will actually say, hey, look, these are my biases. This is where I think you should go. And there's going to be less than
yeah. Look,
trustworthy.
There's a reason as a company I decided right from the start that no employee will get paid commission, because the last thing I want is you coming through the door, you as the customer, you as part of the Bullion Now family, come through the door and say, look, I want to buy precious metals. I don't know if I want gold or silver yet. And we get this question multiple times a day. I'm not sure. I'm leaning towards silver, but maybe I should get some gold. The last thing I want is someone behind the counter going, if I sell him silver, I get it. Michael's going to pay me a commission. So, you should get some silver, and you should really get these coins, because they're thinking, if I sell these coins, there's an extra bonus on it this month. I'll get that extra kickback. There's a specific reason that everyone in this company is paid on a $1 per hour basis, because I don't want those kind of biases in there. And I've heard the guys from the on the counter say multiple times, I don't get a commission out of this. What I'm telling you is just, we're trying to give you the best advice that we don't give advice. We're trying to give you the best alternatives or the best discussions that we can give you, because I don't get a kickback here. Whether you complete this deal or not, whether you buy gold or buy silver or not, makes no difference. I don't get a kickback, so let's just do the best thing for you as part of the Bullion Now family.
Josh, I'm going to speak for Mike a little bit, but I think he'd love to have you on for a video. We've been chasing a financial advisor to jump on for a video to answer some of the questions that both we and our community have had for a while. But
Josh, if you want to, absolutely, you want to contact Ruben on live, LIVE, at bullionnow.com.au, you are more than welcome to come on in front of the camera. We can do it live. We can not do it live. We can absolutely do it pre-recorded. And as I say to everyone that we interview, we will not release anything unless you give us approval. We send it to you. You get to say, oh, look, I like this bit. I don't like that bit. Can you cut it out? Or you can turn around to us and say, I want this destroyed, and we will absolutely do it. No way will I try and hijack someone and put them on in front of a camera and release stuff that they don't want released. We're not into that at all. So if you want to contact us and absolutely discuss about commissions and kickbacks and all that sort of stuff, and what it's like as a financial planner, and if you can recommend precious metals to your customer base, or if it's, you're not allowed to, all those types of things, you would be more than welcome to come on.
Well, Andrew's saying there that, as a retired financial advisor, I never had authority to give advice of gold and silver and bullion. Your licensee needs to give approval for alternative assets.
Oh.
Yeah, Andrew and I, that's actually why I wanted him to jump in, because he and I have had this conversation a number of times about how it's ironic as a financial planner that believes, that Stacks himself, that he can't tell his client base that actually you should possibly think about this.
Yeah.
So, interesting.
Not sure how philosophical this one's supposed to be, but what exactly is Bullion Now?
It's a retail bullion shop.
And how long have we been around for?
So Bullion Now, I'll get it. I think it's October we kicked off in 2018, but it's around about that last quarter of 2018 we kicked off. So we've been around 6 years as a bullion company, but it actually grew out of another company that we've got called Little Coin Shop, which is far more focused and still exists to this day, but it's far more focused on the coin collectible numismatic side than it is on the bullion side.
There was a couple of questions about Little Coin Shop that rolled through before. One was... I think Metal Inquisitor asking for confirmation that Bailey was no longer...
Bailey's resigned. Yeah. She's got herself... no, I probably can't say that. She's got a job somewhere else.
Yeah.
She's moved completely out of the industry. I think... I don't know. I didn't ask her, but I think the travel got to the better of her because she moved from a job that was literally a 5-minute walk from home to having to drive about 40 minutes. So...
and the other one was if people were able to pick up Little Coin Shop invoices on the weekend as well as their Bullion Now ones. Or
don't ask Brett.
You get a colourful response.
That's right. He's our resident Neanderthal.
Continuing on with the questions there, do you primarily serve local customers? Does it make sense to buy bullion and ship it far distances? I'm thinking probably not.
I'm amazed at what we ship and where we ship it to. We ship all around the world.
Yeah. Obviously, if you're buying kilos and kilos and kilos of silver, the weight does start to add up.
Yeah.
And it can be expensive, but the advantage of gold and things like that sometimes is just how
and the
small...
service.
Well, that too.
The service. You can get this wonderful BN service, be part of the Bullion Now family and be on the other side of the planet. The one that really cracks me up is the guy that we ship to who's about half a block from the Perth Mint, and he buys all these Perth Mint products. I won't name you, mate, but he buys all these Perth Mint products from us and we ship them to him. And I think, mate, you can walk out the door and across the road.
Yeah, but you're not getting that felt bag. No pen.
It makes me laugh.
I think we need to go to rapid fire questions.
Oi.
That time already? You joke? We're just
5 minutes in and it's 3 o'clock.
Settling in.
4 o'clock. Far out.
So this is rapid fire. If you've asked a question, we haven't been able to get to it for the rest of the stream, feel free to ask it now. We won't be able to go as in depth, but we will try to hit as many as we can to make sure that we haven't left anything out. So if you had one, let's free to go away. Madeline asking, any more 100-gram silver lunar snakes coming into stock?
No, but we've had there might be some clean. This calm down. This is a short.
Relax. We're going to have to start again.
All right, I'm going to say no. Having said that, over the next few weeks leading through Christmas and into the new year, Adam and I are cleaning up all the odds and sods we've got lying around that, it's a cancelled order that we've forgotten about, or, there's the bottom of the box, we open up and go, oh, look at that, there's still 3 in there.
Yep.
So it wouldn't shock me to see 1 or 2 of them appear on the website at some stage over the next few weeks.
Rapid fire, Michael.
Yeah, that is rapid fire for me.
Why not have Bullion Now and Little Coin Shop under one umbrella instead of separate businesses?
Actually, the real reason is GST, but keep going.
Can we do more auctions? Why do we do so few?
Time.
Any Royal Canadian Mint silver unboxings?
Please.
I've been begging for that. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
No.
Nah.
Yes. When did Tudor Beast arrive?
We're expecting the mid to late January.
Obviously not sponsored or anything, but best platform to buy silver/gold in a paper form to trade.
Oh, I'm going to dodge out of that one.
Yeah, fair enough. At least in rapid fire anyway.
Yeah.
Any Pakenham progress?
Yes, lots.
Okay. But still New Year?
Oh, yeah, it's not going to be this side of New Year.
No worries. Any items from Germania coming?
Yes.
Is BN carbon neutral?
It's not neutral, but we're heading that way. We're generating... No, I'm not going to go further. Ask me that question next year.
Okay. A nugget sales doing well. I've seen a couple go out, but they haven't been
answer that
flying.
one.
But yeah, we started doing some. The question is Ruben or Matt?
Both.
¿Por qué no los dos?
Why does it need to be an or?
Gold and silver spot price predictions at the end of the financial year. We're probably going to save that one for a separate.
Financial year, that's only 6 months away.
Well, yeah, but we're going to save that for another video. But
Yeah.
because you kind of go throughout the whole year. But if you want to answer now, go ahead. I was trying to save you from the answer.
No, I don't want to answer.
Yeah, there you go. Gold tridents.
Yes, they're in stock. I don't know why we haven't. Why haven't we released a video on them? Didn't we film it?
No.
Oh,
That'll
that could be
do
why. Yes, we have them. Yes, we should get them out. I hadn't realised we hadn't, but I did see a whole pile of them this morning, so that would explain it.
Yeah. What happened to the auctioning the old silver maples from 3 weeks ago?
Time. We've got to have... I've just got the emails up to date. I'll work on the auctions next week.
Getting any 1 gram gold bars from Germania?
I don't know the answer to that question, actually. I know we've talked about it. I don't know what the decision was.
Yeah, sorry, I can't remember. Favourite pizza toppings? What are both of you?
Yeah, pineapple absolutely belongs on pizza.
Yeah.
There you go.
My son does. One of my sons doesn't agree with us, but
He's wrong, unfortunately.
yeah, that's what I say. I could agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong.
Malin, we kind of touched on that one before, and we kind of all decided we weren't really sure. But yeah, favourite 2024 Australian bullion coin and collector's coin for the year?
Give us a week. Ask us
Yeah.
next week, and we'll have a
Alright.
think about it. I
We
reckon.
definitely won't think about it.
Favourite Christmas movie?
I don't have one.
A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, are you kidding
That
me?
is the best. The first VHS I ever got.
Oh, gee.
Best movie ever.
I'm amazed you can even spell VHS. You're too young.
Yeah. No, I nearly wore it out. I just watch it on repeat.
How often do we do stock take?
Not often enough, but way too often.
When are we releasing a 10-ounce silver bar?
A BN one?
Yes.
Stay tuned for next year. All sorts of things might happen.
There you go. When is is the Kids Bullion Club starting in January?
Not in January, but I'm really hoping next year.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Andrew, we might take you up on Andrew Josh P. as a...
He's saying to have a joint chat with him and yeah.
That'd be excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1 kilo silver Perth mint bars.
They have arrived. I'm fairly sure we're going to get them listed either, probably not today, sometime over the weekend or Monday.
What's a good hobby to pair with coin collecting and stacking?
Fish keeping.
Fish keeping, beekeeping, maybe. Gardening.
Yeah?
And we've made it to the bottom of the list.
There you go.
I feel like we didn't even start. I feel like we were just hitting our stride. I feel like we've been robbed this week. So having a good time.
Well, the good thing is we have another week.
We'll do it again.
Maybe you should do a 3-hour one next week.
We might have to.
As a special end of year.
Yeah, if we really hit our stride.
Well, maybe if we hit 300 viewers, we could justify it. But-
Exactly. Well,
3
yeah.
hours,
Yeah, if people turn up, maybe we will as well.
Laurie, we've got... I'm surprised they're not listed. Oh, no, we had a website issue this week. I have forgotten to relist the 1 gram Perth mints because we got hundreds of them. They're something I love to keep in stock because they're great for a present. And we churn through so many of them. So I will make sure they get listed back up again, Laurie. Sorry about that, mate.
And yeah, that's about us for this week. I think I'll quickly check a refresh if I can. Nope, they're all out of stock. So the gold sovereigns are now out of stock.
Shocker.
But there's another special that'll be coming out tonight.
It's tonight. You guys have got a time on it?
Nope.
Oh,
I'm only saying that because you said,
It needs to be released today, guys.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
This is such a sloppy wrap-up. Get to the point, lads. People have got things to do.
Let them know that there's a special silver on special coming. That's worth hanging around
fair
for.
enough.
Yeah. Keep your eyes out. It won't last long. I don't believe anyway. Although I'm wrong every so often on this one.
Sounds like Michael's
Let's wrap
committing.
it up.
Sounds like Michael's committing to some auctions for next week. So we'll keep an eye on the website for those
Auctions and specials.
And yeah, if one more stream next week, we'll see everyone then.
Sounds good.
See ya.
See ya.